Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chamber Live with BarterPay. Thank you all for joining us today. We're honored to have John Porter, the founder and CEO of BarterPay, here today with us, who I will introduce shortly, but first a couple housekeeping items. We will be recording this session today and adding it to our resource section on our website. There is also a chat box available, which I will be reading from to ask your questions directly to John, and there will be a 15-minute question and answer period towards the end should you have any questions after his presentation. Also, should you have any further questions after the webinar, please feel free to reach out to Sandra Crawford or Dan Cusack, our local Sudbury BarterPay representatives. Their information will be provided in a post-webinar email, along with a recorded link of today's webinar and a brief survey. Please take the time to answer the survey as it gives us valuable feedback. Thank you again for joining us today. Should there be any technical difficulties, just note that we appreciate your patience and thank you for rolling with us. In this presentation, John will be speaking about BarterPay and its innovative solution to acquiring goods and services by leveraging your capacity instead of spending your hard-earned cash, and how to join the thousands of entrepreneurs across Canada enrolled in this social impact enterprise business. John, I'll now turn it over to you. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, MJ. Really appreciate the warm introduction there, and welcome everybody to this this webinar hosted by the Sudbury Chamber of Commerce. It's my distinct honor and privilege to lead BarterPay as its founder and CEO. I've been in the barter payment space for 24 years and launched BarterPay itself about 2 years ago in 2018. And yeah, we've been having some fun with that. Obviously, with the COVID crisis here, our business is becoming more prevalent in the media and as a way for small to medium-sized businesses across Canada to actually leverage, like MJ just said, leverage their spare capacity in order to get the things that they need without having to utilize precious cash. So we're going to dive right in. My presentation will be about 25 minutes. And then, like MJ mentioned, there's a question and answer box or a chat box there. If I see questions along the way that need to be answered in real time, I will. If not, I will save them to the end for the Q&A portion of the presentation. So again, we'll dive right in. This says on the screen here, BarterPay for service-based businesses. That's sort of our standard webinar. We also have one for product-based businesses. We have one for restaurants, solopreneurs, professionals, the travel industry, and all sorts of different ones. But I will talk about how BarterPay works today for both service-based businesses and for product-based businesses as we move along. So just a quick, excuse me, update on where BarterPay is across the country. We're right now over 20 locations across Canada. Our team is comprised of over 50 people and a combined 250 years of experience in the barter payment space. And here you can see the Northern Ontario franchise right there on the map, based out of Sudbury, Ontario. Dan Cusack and Sandra Crawford have been doing a great job up there in Sudbury North Bay, with plans to expand to Sault Ste. Marie, Thunder Bay, and other towns and cities up in the north. We actually also just signed up our first client in St. John's, Newfoundland, right out here on the East Coast, and we're all the way into Victoria, and we've just launched a Kelowna base as well. We expect to have cross-Canada coverage over the coming months and maybe up to a year here. And of course, this is Southern Ontario, where sort of our most active market is in the country right now. So what is BarterPay? BarterPay, what we are is we're a business that helps Canadian businesses across Canada get the things that they need without having to use money. Instead, they can just acquire those things using their own goods and services and keep their cash in the bank. And so we all know that bartering is the oldest form of commerce, but for two parties to enter into a fair and equitable trade, each side has to want what the other person has at the same time and at the same value, or else they can't make a fair deal. And so to solve that problem, we've created a platform that allows a business now to open an account with BarterPay. They can offer up their goods or services onto the system in exchange for a barter credit. Excuse me. Now, one BarterPay credit equals $1 Canadian for valuation, accounting, and tax purposes. So you as a business owner can now join the BarterPay community. You can offer up your goods and services to the system. You can then bank a credit. And here's the special part. Regardless of who has acquired your goods or services, you can just take that newly earned BarterPay credit now that's in your BarterPay account, and you can go use it and utilize it with anybody else in the entire bartering system, locally, regionally, provincially, nationally, and soon to be internationally. So no longer are you tied down to those one-to-one barter transactions. It's now a one-to-many bartering system. So to illustrate this, excuse me, just let me turn off my phone here. So to illustrate this, I've got a couple of slides just to quickly show you here. what we talked about there was the problem. The double coincidence of wants is actually what it's called. So here you have on the left-hand side, we got a web developer who's looking for some plumbing services from the plumber. And of course, he's saying, I need some plumbing. Can I build you a website? And the plumber saying, no, thanks, I already have a website. So that's the one-on-one bartering conundrum of the time and value has to be lining up right at the perfect time, the double coincidence of wants. So again, to solve that problem, we've created what's called the BarterPay Loop, the platform. So picture this being you in the middle, your service-based business, your product-based business, whatever the case may be. This is your business that is about to join the BarterPay system. The BarterPay community is already around you. And I want to point out already in Sudbury, we have almost 120 businesses and growing already on the barter system. And I believe in North Bay, we've got about 35 or so and growing down there as well. So it's already an established community. And across the country, we're sitting about almost 4,000 businesses in the community and growing very quickly. So the first thing you're going to do when you open up your BarterPay account and you join the loop is you're going to offer up your services or your goods into the community. Whether that's idle time or idle inventory. And so as you offer up your goods or services into the BarterPay system, you're going to trade those for what's called the Barter Credits, 1-for-1 Canadian dollar value. So again, you give up your goods and services, you get back Barter Credits from the people who want to acquire them. The next step 3, is to take your newly earned Barter Credits and spend them, utilize them back within the same BarterPay community for the things that you actually need, the goods and services that you require. And so what this does is it creates this infinite loop of business reciprocity where, instead of spending money, your hard-earned cash on the things that you need, you're now able to give up your time or products, your already sunk cost inventory and or your expiring time and space that goes to zero value every hour or a day or whatever the case may be. Offer up that idle time or product into the community, receive the credits, take the credits, use them, and then get back to the goods and services you need. So it's actually even in our logo, the BarterPay Loop is again this infinite loop of buying and selling and reciprocity that happens with what we call the circular sharing economy. Is kind of what we built here, is this circular sharing economy. So pretty cool. The 3 key ways that we help a business grow and gain a competitive edge. Number 1, we can help increase your cash flow by buying at your wholesale cost of time and space, and or your wholesale cost of goods if you're in the product business. We give you access to alternative financing through our Barter Loans program, which I'll talk about in a second. And we also increase charitable giving to create more social impact through our Barter Pay It Forward movement that we've been kind of invented a new way for charities to receive funding using barter credit instead of cash. The best way to understand kind of what we do is through a few examples. So I'll just mention a few of these stories now. This is a company out of Kitchener-Waterloo actually called Golf North. They own a number of golf courses throughout the province. I think it's about 40 right now and growing as well. And so they were interested in BarterPay because they acquired another golf course down in London, Ontario, and they had to put a new roof on a part of the building. And instead of going and spending $200,000 of their hard-earned cash on the roofing contract, we found a roofer in the BarterPay community that was willing to take $75,000 off the bill in barter credits. So this allowed the golf course, again, to open a BarterPay account. We sold off a whole bunch of memberships and greens fees where they had capacity at certain courses. They banked those barter credits and then they used them with the roofing company as a deposit. So instead of having to come up with that extra $75,000 in cash, they only had to write a check for $125,000 to the roofer and then paid for the other $75,000 again in golf, greens fees, and memberships. Then the roofer obviously took the $75,000 in credit, went and got things that they needed from the system because they didn't need 75 grand worth of golf. So that was a kind of a cool thing that happened. This is actually in the Hamilton Spectator. Sean Evans is the president and CEO of Golf North, and he says it fills downtime. Once a tee time is gone, it's a lost opportunity. Now, if you're a service-based business, put yourself in that same position. Once an hour is unbilled, and it's gone forever, right? It expires. Those golfers are often new to Golf North properties, he says, so it's great exposure. The company spends its barter credits on HVAC and security services along with furniture. Evans estimates the injection to the bottom line is about 5%. That might not sound like a lot, but for a company the size of ours, that's a lot of dollars. So here's another example of a business actually up in Ottawa. Last September, I believe it was, Murray joined the system. Expedia Cruise Ship Centers up in Ottawa, and she had chartered a riverboat here to go over in Germany, Danube River, I believe it was, and she had sold out about 100 cabins, but there's 120 cabins on the boat. Once it leaves the dock, of course, those cabins become worthless, and she had to commit to the whole boat. So rather than just have them go to waste and have that time and space go to zero value, Murray made the smart choice to open a BarterPay account. We marketed the available cabins out to the system, and each one was about $8,000. And within the next 3 weeks, within 3 weeks before the trip, we sold off about another 8 or 10 cabins, which helped her monetize about $60,000 to $70,000 worth of barter credits into her account. So then, rather than have again those empty cabins, she now had about $70,000 in BarterPay credits come into her account, which she can now use in the future because the barter credits do not expire. So she can get things back like she got printing, advertising, some leasehold improvements, some renovations at home, and now able to also give some to charity as well to help the local Ottawa community. And we have hundreds and hundreds of examples. It doesn't matter if the transactions are $5, $5,000, or $50,000 at a time. We do everything up and down the whole line, and all sorts of different types of businesses as well. Okay, so in the Financial Post recently, top tips on how to save your business money. Why pay in cash when you can pay in kind? For some businesses with products or services to offer, barter can be a useful way to pay for business expenses. If you have downtime in a service-based business, leaving tools and time wasted, or if you have excess inventory that is tying up warehouse space or on your shelf, barter networks, barter networks can be a useful way to convert them into extra revenue in exchange for services ranging from marketing and photography to printing and construction. Barter networks such as BarterPay create their own barter credit systems that you can use to exchange with others in their network. Barter can be a useful way to capitalize on surplus time and assets. Okay, access to alternative financing. This is kind of a new thing that we've launched here. I've got a story to talk about there. This is Harrison Hennick from Neek Restaurant in Hamilton, Ontario. And about a year and a half ago, Neek stumbled across BarterPay. I found out that he was going to be building another location. And he actually was about to be spending $15,000 of his hard-earned cash on engineering services. And I suggested to Neek that he not do that, that instead he look at BarterPay as a way to get, take care of that expense. So he, again, made the smart choice, opened up his BarterPay account. Now, he couldn't earn the credits fast enough to go and use the engineering service that was in the BarterPay community. So what we did was we arranged for a barter loan. So we loaned him the $15,000 in barter credits in advance. He went and used them with the engineering firm to offset that cost, kept the $15,000 cash in his bank. And here's the best part. Over the next year, he didn't have to pay back the loan with money. All he did was issue $1,000 in gift cards back to the BarterPay community, which then earned him $1,000 in barter credits each month, which then paid off his loan over a 15-month period. So again, instead of having to come up with $15,000 of Canadian dollars that from the sales that he's already generating, we generated $15,000 of new business for him. And so he paid off that loan at his food cost of only about 35 cents on the dollar. Huge, huge savings. The fact is, business owners every day write checks for things the money leaves their bank. And as soon as that money leaves your bank, it's gone forever. There's no guarantee that the person you're giving your hard-earned cash to, the vendor or the supplier, is going to turn around and spend an equal amount of money at your place of business right away. Conversely, when you actually keep that cash in the bank and use a BarterPay credit to go and buy something, there's a 100% guarantee that the system has to reciprocate and spend an equal amount in your location. So it's not just a cost savings or boost to your cash flow in the bottom line. It actually creates this marketing mechanism that drives brand new unsolicited business right back to your front door. And so we've been issuing hundreds of thousands of dollars in barter credit loans over the last couple of years, actually. And yeah, everybody's obviously liking that, even especially in these times that we're facing right now. Okay, shifting gears a bit, the third thing that we do to help small businesses is we help them with their social impact. And I know, right now we're obviously in a season where businesses are bartering, they're earning those credits and they're using them for themselves. But we also have a number of businesses across Canada right now who are donating thousands of BarterPay credits to our foundation that can be distributed to charities. And so as a business owner, I'm sure you get hit up all the time for cash donations, and I'm sure that you are one that is connected to your community and gives back to your community whenever you can in the form of money. But wouldn't it be great if there was another way you could also give back without having to dip into cash? Instead, you could just barter pay it forward. So we had a number of charities who are looking to participate in our program. And so what we did was we came up with a way to make it very seamless. We actually developed our own charitable foundation called the BarterPay It Forward Foundation. It's an actual Canadian registered charity. So now we get, all these 4,000 businesses over here are bartering and trading. They're earning and spending and utilizing those barter credits. But now we've got a ton of them who are now donating portions of their newly earned barter credits to the BarterPay It Forward Foundation in exchange for an equal value charitable tax receipt, 1-for-1. Then the BarterPay It Forward Foundation is taking its credits in the account and doling them out to charities all across the province and the country. And then those charities are going back into the bartering system from where the donations were generated to begin with, and extracting the actual goods and services that they require. And so this is kind of a new invention. It helps businesses deliver more social impact and create more social impact and create more donations. It also helps charities with a new fundraising opportunity. So again, to drive this home, we've got a story to talk about. This is St. Amant Landscaping Depot in St. Catharines, Ontario. This is the owner of St. Amant Landscaping Depot, Rob Skorsky. This is actually the executive director of the Lincoln County Humane Society. This is the mayor of St. Catharines, the day that we presented this BarterPay check. It's actually not really in money, it's in BarterPay credits. So here's how the deal went down. This is the BarterPay community over here. So picture this being the 4,000 businesses that were already on the platform. And then this is St. Amant, who opened up his BarterPay account just to run this transaction. So he joined the community. He was sitting on about $12,000 worth of idle inventory in a storage container, pelletized compost, for about 5 years. And it was just sitting there. He was trying to pawn it off on Kijiji for about $19 a bag, and it just wasn't selling. And of course, he's busy, so he didn't really think about it much. As soon as he found out about BarterPay It Forward, he thought, wow, I'd love to be able to give back to my community in a bigger way. Maybe I can convert that idle inventory into a donation. So what he did was he joined the BarterPay system. We started to market his compost material and some armor stone out to the BarterPay community. He banked $12,000 worth of BarterPay credits. Within the first week, we had sold off all the inventory to landscapers and a couple of wineries and just people who wanted to have a nicer front lawn. And it was another landscaper bought this armor stone. And so again, boom, within 1 week, we had monetized all that idle inventory. He banked the $12,000 in barter credits into his account. The next thing he did was he donated the $12,000 in barter credits over to the BarterPay It Forward Foundation in exchange for a 1-for-1 charitable tax receipt. We did a video for him. We put it on social media, got 25,000 views. The news came to the check presentation. So he got a lot of social media and marketing out of that as well. The BarterPay It Forward Foundation then took the $12,000 in barter credits and gifted them to the Lincoln County Humane Society, who just said thank you to BarterPay, and they pay a small fee, administration, fundraising, and brokerage fee for setting up all the fundraising and taking care of all the financial aspect. We issue all the tax receipts as well. The Lincoln County Humane Society then took their $12,000 in barter credits and spent them back into the bartering community, the BarterPay system, and extracted architectural services. Because they were building a new building as well, or renovation, and they needed some architectural services for their drawing, so to get their permit. So as you can see, it literally is just a circular transaction here. We took idle inventory from St. Amant's, sold it, donated it, went all the way back into the community and got what they needed. So that's how BarterPay It Forward works. So you can picture you as a business owner in Sudbury, if you've got expiring time and space that's not being monetized, you need to get on board the BarterPay system so that we can actually monetize that time and space for you, because we know that cash is still king, but barter is greater than zero, expiring time and space. So get on the BarterPay system, monetize some of that, take those barter credits and use them for what you need. But if you don't need anything, it's better to have a donation available for the future than it is to have expiring time and space. Same thing goes for the product-based businesses. Rather than deeply discounting your products, those hard goods, sell them for retail value, get those credits, use them for what you need, and then also maybe donate some to charity. Imagine Canada is the voice of the charitable sector across the country. They're our national partner on this program, and Bruce McDonald, the CEO, says that BarterPay It Forward will make a meaningful difference to Canadian charities. By creating a marketplace for in-kind giving, they're lifting the barriers to millions in donations each year that have traditionally been turned down, and it's really happening that way. Where we are right now, again, we're approaching about 4,000 businesses and growing fast. We do about 35 million in barter transactions already between these businesses that it's already happening in real time. We have 106 charities already on board the platform, and already we've generated about 3.1 million in donations through the BarterPay It Forward program. Where we're heading, 50,000 businesses across the country, 500 million in transactions between those businesses, 5,000 charities, and about $100 million per year in net new charitable giving as a result of businesses monetizing their spare capacity and turning that into giving. Super, super exciting. And we're excited to have you guys join us on this journey. So one of the questions that we get asked a lot is how do you grow my business? How do you market my goods or services out to the community? You know, what are the tools at my disposal? Is it just an app that I kind of download and then I'm off on my own? And the answer is no. We have a number of tools that you can tap into for BarterPay. The first and most important one is the Barter Broker. So as we mentioned at the beginning, Dan and Sandra Cusack are the franchise owners in Sudbury, in Northern Ontario. And primarily Dan is on the business development side and Sandra is on the brokering side. So if you choose to join the community in Sudbury, Sandra will likely be your Barter Broker. And so her role is to be your window to the network. You know, you're a busy business owner. Your job is to run your business and to build your business. Our job is to have a Barter Broker come alongside you once you open your account to not only help you market your goods and services out to the network, but also to help you, more importantly, extract the things from the network that you need through a wish list, through working with you on things that you're looking for. So that's what Sandra will be doing for you up there in Sudbury. The first thing Sandra will do is work with our graphics team to design a custom ad for your business. And then we'll get you on the Barter Blast ASAP. The Barter Blast is a weekly email that'll come to your inbox. You can sign up for the Sudbury, Northern Ontario one. You can sign up for other Barter Blasts and see them through your My BarterPay account login. This is basically just a way for every week you can see what new members that are signing up, different offerings that are available. This is where we'll advertise your business out to the community because we want to see you earn immediate brand new business from other BarterPay members locally and in the area across the province. We also do, oops, I think I missed a slide there, barter promos. So barter promos are sort of a one-off where we feature one specific business. And so here's actually the barter promo we did for St. Amant Landscaping Depot, where we sold off that easy flow pelletized compost. So that's the promo that went out that sold off about 10 grand worth of that compost. We also do barter events usually in support of the Barter Pay It Forward Foundation. So these are events where we want businesses to bump into each other, whether it's kind of like a chamber business after 5, or it's our annual Barter Pay golf tournament or a holiday Christmas party. We're also going to be launching next year what's called Barter Fest, and Barter Fest will be a national conference of the whole entire BarterPay community. Will be invited across the country, probably hosted out of Toronto to start, where we can just get people together and hand out awards and for not only top trading, but also top giving through the Barter Pay It Forward Foundation, just to create this sense of community, because that's what we are. We're building a community of like-minded, forward-thinking entrepreneurs and business owners who really love the idea of conserving cash, zero waste, circular economies, upcycling, being environmentally friendly, and just overall more efficient with their business. And so in terms of processing transactions, once you're on board, you're going to get all your account credentials. You can then download the BarterPay POS app from the App Store or Google Play. And what this will do is allow you to post transactions in real time. You can see your transaction summary. You can upload different trade cards for different accounts. And it's kind of like a BarterPay debit card, picture it like that. This is how you can, as a seller, process a transaction, or as a buyer, present your card to make a purchase. Also, picture how your online banking works. With any bank or financial institution that you're with, that's exactly how BarterPay works on the back end. So you can log in from a desktop, see your transactions in real time, and also through the mobile app. And then to top it all off, we issue you a monthly e-statement on the first day of the month. You'll get a statement from the system support, and that will show you an accounting of all your barter transactions for the previous month. And yeah, you can just reconcile that account statement to your BarterPay bank account in your books and records. When I say bank account, I mean like you treat it like a bank account, no differently than your current accounting would reconcile your cash statement to your cash bank account inside your books and records. Okay, so just in summary, the top 4 reasons that a business should join BarterPay. Number 1, we will bring you brand new unsolicited business. That's a guarantee. Most businesses that join our system receive new business within the first week for sure. If we feel that you're not going to receive new business, then we won't even allow you to process your application if you want to sign up. We want to make sure that we're bringing on businesses where we can bring them immediate new business into their account. Number 2, conserve cash by offsetting regular cash costs. So important. As you earn these BarterPay credits, We're going to work with you. Sandra is going to work with you and Dan on business development to help you utilize them on things that you normally would have spent money on. No differently than Golf North with the roof or Murray with her printing costs, whatever the case may be. We want your wish list of all the things you're looking for so that we can actually go replace those expenditures with barter instead of cash. Number 3, access to barter loans, the alternate financing. If that's something that you need, we can talk about that, no problem at all. And then obviously number 4, we just reviewed that, the creating social impact without having to cut a check. So lots of reasons. There's many more reasons, but those are just kind of the 4 highlights that we can talk about. We talked about today. Okay, so join the movement. Excuse me. How much does it cost to participate with BarterPay? We used to have a $495 activation fee, a monthly fee, and a almost 15% commission on every transaction. And what we've decided to do is we're running a pilot right now throughout the province and even the country that we've lowered our activation fee to $99. And the monthly subscription is $59. That's all inclusive. We don't charge extra for the promos or the blasts or the access to the app or anything, broker access. It's just all inclusive, $59 a month. Now this $59 rate will be going up to $69, $79, $89, and it will cap off at $99 a month. Those of you that join right now at $59 are going to stay locked in at $59 a month. When the $69 wave comes in, then they're locked in at $69 and so on and so forth. Right on up to $99 a month. Now, if you are a chamber or a Restaurants Canada Association member, a Chamber of Commerce member in Ontario, the standard rate is $99 to join with $59 a month, and then you get a $125 bill credit. But right now, there's this promotion across the province right now. The first 1,000 businesses that join through the chamber are only same $99 to join, $59 a month. There's a $175 starting bill credit once you join. So it's a number of months free. And so it's it's a great thing to kind of test out, hop on board, try it out. Let us help you with the system. Let us help you bring in new business. Let us help you use some of those newly earned barter credits on something that you need and really get yourself locked in at a very, very low rate to have everything all included. So that's pretty much brings us to the end of sort of the formal presentation part of the presentation. There's all of our kind of social media, whether it's myself you want to talk to or follow, or BarterPay or BarterPay It Forward. It's all right there. I know Barter, this is kind of my standard presentation for across Canada. So I know that Dan and Sandra also have local Facebook pages and Instagram as well for BarterPay Northern Ontario. So I'm sure that will be circulated with the email at the end. So at this time, I think we can open it up for some Q&A. If I guess MJ would want to come on and sort of handle that.
Yeah, for sure, John. We have a chat box at the bottom of the screen so people can register their question and you could read it right off of that and give a response.
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering myself if you can clarify, John, for the people that are listening to the presentation, the credits that you mentioned after the signing on with BarterPay, is that in Barter Credits or is that just credited to the account for the monthly installments? Yeah,
no, that's an actual Canadian dollar bill credit. So great question. Essentially, when a chamber member joins right now, they pay the $99 activation. They pay a $59 a month starting, like it's basically the second month because our billing happens, like say if they join today, they wouldn't get the first billing till May 25th, which wouldn't be due till June. But regardless, there's a $175 bill credit to start in Canadian dollars. So essentially you're getting back your activation fee plus a couple of months of almost 2 months of the monthly fee, or a month and a half.
Okay, thank you for answering that. And I believe Marissa had just put something in the chat box for you to answer.
Yes. Okay, so Marissa, how many existing businesses in Northern Ontario, Sudbury area are registered with BarterPay? So great question. There are about 120 businesses in the Sudbury area and another 35 or so in North Bay. And we're growing, obviously, especially during this this COVID crisis that we're in a bit here. And so obviously, a lot of businesses are very interested in joining the BarterPay community to learn more and to sort of learn how to adopt this practice into their regular business. So yeah, about 150 or so altogether and growing. Overall, across the country, we're about 4,000 plus at this point, and most of the epicenter of BarterPay right now is from the Niagara to Oakville down to London. It's kind of the biggest group of clients, representing almost 2,000 businesses in that area.
There's another great follow-up question from Marissa as well. Which economic sectors?
Yeah, so different, I guess the question there is which like different types of sort of verticals, I guess, or types of businesses? Is that what I'm?
Yeah, correct. That's how I read it.
Oh, yes. Okay, perfect. So yes, great question. The list of things that aren't available on BarterPay is probably the shortest list. So I'll talk about that first. Things like fuel, the banks, the mortgage payments, your taxes, core wages are difficult to get through barter, lumber, groceries, anything with a very, very slight profit margin that's more of a commodity-based item is usually not available on BarterPay. Like for you guys, say nickel or paper up there, like it's just a commodity, right? But everything else is fair game. We have pretty much everything covered, whether it's health and wellness, media, meals and entertainment, all sorts of, professionals, printing services, business services, sports teams, sporting events. Yeah, the list goes on and on in terms of what actually is available. And again, when you earn barter credits in Sudbury, you don't have to just spend them in Sudbury either. You can earn them locally and spend them abroad, or you can earn them abroad and spend them locally. It's kind of a universal bartering system that has no borders. Another great question. A couple of actual other local examples I can touch on really quickly too. And there's a couple more questions there. I'll get to them in a second. We do have, for example, Victory Lube in Sudbury, who's been able to do a lot of bartering for oil changes in exchange for printing and mobile sign rental, for example. We've got Eastside Mario's in Sudbury that's done a lot of trade, for things like hood vent cleaning and their own printing costs, golf tournament and that sort of thing. Gonga's Grill is all on board in Sudbury, and also Journal Printing, right? They're one of the more recognizable printers in the Sudbury area. And so those are some of the local businesses. It's really a really widespread community up there. And as we're adding more, it just gets better and bigger and better and bigger and better. So a couple more questions here. Well, someone from just says that Sandra and Dan are great and always there for support. Yes, I couldn't agree more. Dan and Sandra, Dan Cusack, Sandra Crawford are an amazing team and doing a fantastic job of leading BarterPay in Northern Ontario. Thank you guys very much for all that you do. Again, from Marissa, advertising. Yes, advertising is a huge thing on Barter. Again, anybody I'm not sure if you're asking because you are in advertising or because you're wondering if there would be advertising available, but regardless, advertising is one of those things in media that's very, very prevalent in the barter system. Because again, if I own a coupon book or a magazine or a billboard, if that space is going out empty or is not being monetized currently, I'd much rather have barter credit in my account in exchange for that idle time and space versus just comping ads or putting in more editorial or whatever the case may be. So not only is advertising available on BarterPay, it's also something that's one of our biggest categories actually when it comes to the barter system. Another great question. So I know a question that usually comes up, maybe no one is asking right now, but I know that people might be thinking about it, would be, what about the taxes? How do the taxes work? So it's good to cover off that, we highly suggest that you just run this through as regular income and expense to your business. So there's no advantage or disadvantage to the taxes when it comes to BarterPay. It's just a formality that needs to be taken care of to make it legal. And so we know that one-on-one bartering is always going to happen, and that's fine. If that's what you're doing, that's okay. But for the BarterPay system, because it's actually recorded and there's a full paper trail on every transaction, it's very much the best practice to actually, record it as revenue to your business when it's earned and record it as an expense if you use it. When you use it, the HST washes out. If you use it personally, just record it as wages or dividends or earnings or through your shareholder account, whatever way that's appropriate for you. It's just best to record that way because again, there's a full paper trail. So it's that's how that works.
Okay, John, I think we'll wrap it up now.
Sure.
If there's more questions that come in, they will be having a follow-up email that will go out, and it will also have Sandra and Dan's contacts on that information as well so that they can get in touch with their local representatives here. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your experience. Thank you all that are listening in that signed up for the webinar for joining us today. Please check out our other upcoming Free Chamber live sessions on our website. Next Tuesday, April 28th at 10 a.m., we are joined by the Honorable Minister Forche, Minister of Middle Class Prosperity, and Associate Minister of Finance. On behalf of the Sudbury Chamber, we'd like to thank John for giving us time here today and educating us all on the BarterPay movement, and we wish you all good health, and remember to plank the curve. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Have a good afternoon.